to my channel and welcome to the third part of the mechanics of respiration. Before we start with today's video, let us revise about the previous two. In that we have covered the muscle movement of the thorax, in which we have seen primary as well as the accessory muscles. Then we have focused on the 4 units of thoracic cavity, that is the upper costal series, lower costal series, thoracic lid as well as the diaphragm. And contraction of the various muscles causes alteration in the transverse as well as the vertical diameters of thoracic cavity. In next video, we have focused over the intrapleural and the intra-alveolar pressure changes. During inspiration, pressures are slightly negative. During expiration, it takes a hike. Now, in this video, surfactant. Surfactant is, let me tell you a brief concept of surface tension first. Then I will tell you about the surfactant. So first let us start with the surface tension. What is surface tension? That suppose I have a glass which is filled with the water, right? Up to this level the water is filled in this glass. Now I would like to focus you on this particular interface. This is known as the air-water interface. Air-water interface. Now what are we going to do is, we are supposed to imagine the 2 different molecules. One molecule at a certain depth, let's suppose over here, and another molecule at this air-water interface. Now how many forces they are acting on both of the molecules? Let's calculate it. So the molecule present at a certain depth, so the surrounding molecules, that is over the right side, over the left side, upward direction as well as in the downward direction. So the net force acting at a molecule number 1, net force will be 0. But for the molecule number 2, net force will not be 0. Why? Just because all the molecules present at the air-water interface, they are under the influence of only 3 forces. That is, one from the right side, one from the left side and one from the downward direction. So what happens is, they are always attempting to contract, right? So actually all the molecules present over the surface, they are all attempting to contract to one another. Means molecules present at the air-water interface, they tend to bring another molecules towards the one particular center, right? And this creates a tension which is known as surface tension. It is known as surface tension. So I hope the surface tension is clear to you. Right, this is the very brief concept that we all have studied in the physics, that the concept of surface tension. Now can we apply the same concept in the alveolar inner surface? Let's see. So let's take an example of the alveoli. In that, this is our alveoli. The inner surface of the alveoli, which is lined by a fluid, inner surface of the alveoli which is lined by a fluid, right? And the same as the water molecules, here also over the inner surface of this particular alveoli there is surface tension, okay? And this surface tension, which creates an inward force, towards an imaginary center point of this particular alveoli. Now the most important thing about this is point number 1. This helps in expiration. Why? Just because whenever we are going for expiration, there should be shrinking of the alveoli and air should move from alveoli to the bronchioles. So it helps in the moving air out of alveoli, But another thing is that it also creates a tendency to collapse, right? So this is a disadvantage, that surface tension, it increases the collapsing tendency, increases collapsing tendency, right? So I hope the concept of surface tension is clear to you. Now coming to our main topic, that is surfactant. Now let us understand the surfactant and how does it work. So surface tension, in the surface tension, let me give you a terminology which is going to help us very much, that remember this terminology, that is surface tension elastic force. Surface tension elastic force. So this is the conclusion of what we have studied till now. Surface tension elastic force. Now what is surfactant? Surfactant, which is surfactant, so which is surface acting agent. Surface acting agent, it is the surfactant. Okay, and it helps in the reduction of the surface tension, right? So surfactant, very easy to understand. Suppose this is the alveoli, inner surface of the alveoli lined by the fluid. It creates a surface tension towards the imaginary point in the center of the alveoli. It creates the collapsing tendency. What the surfactant does, that surfactant reduces this particular tension. How does it reduces? So for that we must focus on the structure of the surfactant. So surfactant, basically the structure is like this. Now surfactant, it has two portions. This is the portion number 1 and this is the portion number 2. So the one portion, that is hydrophilic, and another portion, that is hydrophobic. So the hydrophobic portion is this. Hydrophobic means what? It does not dissolve in water. Does not dissolve in water. And hydrophilic is this portion, which dissolves in water. Dissolves in water. So this is the particular structure. Let me draw another diagram to understand this thing. That in this particular alveoli, there is surface tension created by the fluid which is present. What happens is, when we add a surfactant, so surfactant molecules, they are not uniformly dissolved because of the hydrophilic and hydrophobic portions present in the surfactant. They are not uniformly dissolved, but the portion which is dissolves in the water, which is dissolving in the water, so it reduces the surface tension. And as the surface tension is reduced, it also helps in increasing the compliance of the thoracic cavity. Compliance of the thoracic cavity. So this is the major function of the surfactant, that when we add the surfactant, the surface tension is very much reduced, that the alveoli can be inflated very easily. Now what happens if there is surfactant absence? So in the absence of surfactant, what happens? Let me show you with a very simple diagram. That let's suppose this is our lung, and inside it we have alveoli. So this diagram is just for the understanding purpose, that this is the alveoli, this is the lung. Now suppose we do not have surfactant. So if surfactant is absent, so the fluid which is present inside the alveoli, which creates a surface tension, and it tends to collapse the alveoli. Right? It tends to collapse the alveoli. So in order to make it inflated, the muscles present over the thoracic wall, they must work hard in order to bring the pump handle as well as the bucket handle movement, which I have explained in my previous videos, that if the muscles are working, it increases the volume of the thoracic cavity, right? So volume will be increased, pressure will be decreased, as we have seen in the Boyle's law, and it helps in inflation of this particular alveoli. But if the surfactant is present, right, so that is the scenario number 2. If I add the surfactant, so it reduces the surface tension over here. It reduces the surface tension over here. It also reduces the muscle work done by the muscles present over this particular thoracic wall. So alveolus can be inflated very easily, Next thing is the work of breathing will be reduced very much as the muscle work is reduced. Muscle work will be decreased. Alveoli can be inflated very easily. So these were the functions of the surfactant. Surfactant, it is very useful. And now one thing that I would like to tell you, what do you think? That from where this surfactant comes? That since last 10 minutes we are discussing about the surfactant, but from where does this surfactant come? Let me tell you the origin of surfactant. So the origin of the surfactant, it is very simple to understand, and in the structure of the alveoli and in the bronchioles, there are two different cells. One thing that is type 2 alveolar epithelial cells. Alveolar epithelial cells, they secrete the surfactant. And second thing, that is sclera cells. That is C. Sclera cells present in the bronchioles. So these two, that is type 2 alveolar epithelial cells and the sclera cells, they secrete the surfactant. And surfactant is made up of 3 important structures. One, that is phospholipid. Second thing, that is proteins. And the third one, that is ions. So these are the 3 important structures which are present in the surfactant, and surfactant which is produced by the type 2 alveolar epithelial cells as well as the sclera cells in the bronchioles. So those were the cells as well as the components of the surfactant. Now coming to functions of the surfactant. What are the functions of surfactant? That the first function that I have already explained, that is it helps in the increasing compliance of the thoracic cavity. Second function, that is it reduces the collapsing tendency. Third function, that is the alveoli can be easily inflated. For this, it reduces the muscle work and also reduces the work of breathing. And second thing, and the most important thing, that is it reduces the surface tension in the alveoli. Because if the surface tension is increased, there is high tendency of collapsing of the lung. Because of the surfactant, we are able to reduce it, and we can easily inflate, as well as the deflation is also possible. So that was all about the surfactant. If you like my video, do like, share and subscribe my channel. And if you want to know about the different topics in the physiology, do let me know in the comment section. If you want to know about the biomechanics, do let me know in the comment section. Comment section is yours. You can comment and let me know about the topics which you want to discuss, as well as if any topic that you want to revise it, or you have any doubt in the topic, do let me know. You can join my Telegram group also, and I have mentioned the link of my Telegram group in the description of this video. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching the video till end.